Good morning, everyone. So, in our last class, we have studied about three nutrients present in our food. Those were carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. So, we learned about them. Today, we will learn about mineral salts, and other nutrients also. So, let's start today's class. So mineral salts are important for various body functions. They are important for various body functions. They are required in small quantities and are obtained from the food we take in. So mineral salts must be taken or can be taken in small quantities. That means we do not need large amount of mineral salts in our body. Unlike proteins or fats and carbohydrates, we needed them in large amounts, but the mineral salts, we do not need to have them in a large quantity. We can have them in small quantities. Mineral salts have no energy value. That means like the proteins or the fats or the carbohydrates, they provided you energy, but mineral salts will not provide you energy, but they have other roles in our body, so their energy value is less. What are the sources of food there from which you will get mineral salts? So they are milk, cheese, green leafy vegetables like spinach, pulses, meat, and eggs. So these are the sources of food which will provide you mineral salts. These are the examples of food. Now please take your pencil and underline this line. Salts of calcium and phosphorus are required for making bones and teeth hard and for promoting blood clotting in our body. So there are salts of what? Calcium and phosphorus. So salts of calcium and phosphorus are very necessary for our body. They are also mineral salts. Why are they necessary for our body? Because they help in making the bones and the teeth. They make our bones and teeth what? Hard. So because of them, because of the presence of them, our bones and teeth are hard. You cannot break. Our bones and teeth do not break easily. They are hard. So if there is no salts of calcium and phosphorus in our food, what will happen? Your bones will get broken down easily, and your teeth will also get broken down easily. And also it has an important role in our body. What is that? For promoting blood clotting in our body. So what is blood clotting? So suppose you got a cut. Somehow you got a cut in your body, and after you get cut, what happens? There's a lot of blood coming out. There will be a lot of blood. So what is blood clotting there? After some time you can see in your own that the blood has stopped coming out, and the blood has got clotted. That means it solidifies. Usually our blood is liquid, but sometimes you will see that the blood of your wound has got a little bit solidified. So if you do not disturb the wound, your blood won't come out. So that is blood clotting. That means it clots your blood. It does not allow the blood. It stops the flowing of the blood. It solidifies the blood here, and your wound starts healing. It gets solidifies a little bit, and then it prevents loss of blood. So what will happen if there is no blood clotting? Suppose you got a cut, you will get a cut. Suppose you got a cut, and if there is no blood clotting, what will happen? The blood will not stop. There will be continuous flowing of the blood, and you will lose a lot of blood. What will happen? People will die even they get a small cut in their body. So that is why blood clotting is very essential for our body, and that can happen from the salts of calcium and phosphorus. They help in the clotting of our blood. Next, iron is essential for forming what? Hemoglobin, a component of our blood. So iron, it's essential for what? Forming hemoglobin. What is hemoglobin? It is a component present in our blood, the deficiency of which causes anemia. Underline the whole line till anemia. Okay. So iron is necessary for our blood, for forming a very important component of our blood, that is known as hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is the type of, because of hemoglobin your blood is red in color. Yeah, so it's present in our blood, and without, if there's less hemoglobin, then you will get a disease known as anemia. I think you have heard about the name. Yeah, so anemia is the disease that you will get if there is a deficiency of hemoglobin in your blood. That means deficiency of iron in your food causes the less formation of hemoglobin, and that is how you will get anemia. Green leafy vegetables, eggs, groundnuts and liver are the sources of iron. So what are the food that gives you iron? You have to eat green vegetables, eggs, groundnuts and liver of animal liver, like you can eat chicken liver. Yeah, so they are the good sources of iron, so you have to eat them. These are the examples. You can underline them. Okay, next, iodine. What is iodine? It is another material which controls, what does iodine do? It controls the functioning of an important gland that's known as thyroid. Deficiency of iodine leads to goiter. Iodized salt, fish and seafood are the sources of this mineral. So there's another component, another mineral, that is iodine. It's also very essential for our body. Why it's essential? Because there's a gland in our body. Yeah, we have different kinds of gland in our body. Among them, thyroid is also a very important gland that we can find in our body. And if there is a deficiency of iodine in your body, what happens? This gland is usually small. Yeah, usually small, but if there's no iodine, sometimes the gland get enlarged. Yeah, the gland get enlarged and you get a disease that's known as goiter. Yeah, let me show you a picture. So can you see the woman? Yeah, here the neck portion, it got enlarged. Yeah, you might have seen those patients somewhere. So here is the presence of thyroid gland, and if there is less iodine in your body, what will happen? You will get this disease known as goiter. Yeah, so from where can you get iodine? From iodized salt. Yeah, you can check your salt, the name, you can ask your parents the salt that they bring, that's always iodized salt. Yeah, presence of iodine is always present in the salt. Next, you can get it from fish, seafood, etc. Understood? So underline this line, this till goiter. Next, we'll study about vitamins. So what are vitamins? Vitamins are neither bodybuilding nor energy giving foods, but are very important for proper functioning of our bodies. So unlike carbohydrates, fats and proteins, vitamins do not give us energy nor they promote in growth. That means they are not bodybuilding nutrients like what? Proteins. Yeah, but even though they do not help in bodybuilding or energy, they are very important for proper functioning of our bodies. Yeah, all the nutrients have separate roles, so they are required by the body in small quantities. Vitamins also we need in small quantities, not in huge quantities. Yeah, so what are the foods from where you will get vitamins? They are green leafy vegetables, fruits, milk, eggs and cheese are very rich in vitamins. So you can see the vegetables, the fruits and milk and eggs. These are the examples that you will get almost in all the nutrients. So you have to make sure that you eat enough vegetables, yeah, green vegetables and fruits and milk and eggs, yeah. So you should eat this food, this good food, so that you can be healthy. So these are the food that's rich in vitamins. Underline that line, yeah, till vitamins, from the here till vitamins. Next, water. So water is indispensable. So water is a must thing that we will be needing in our body. It's a compulsory thing, yeah. About 70% of our body weight is that of water. So our body, there's 70% of water in our body. You can get water from 70% of our body. So of our body weight, that is of water. So if suppose if your weight is 10 kg, that means 7 kg is because of the presence of water in your body. Other 3 kgs will be for other components in your body. So it's 70% of the body weight is because of the water. Why is water important? It helps in various functions. Yeah? It is a means of transporting substances in the organism. It helps to maintain a constant body temperature. Water helps in absorption of food and excretion of waste products from our body. Our body needs 2 to 3 liters of water every day. So please underline these things. From here, it is a means of transporting substances in the organism. It helps to maintain a constant body temperature till products from the body. So these are the functions, the roles of water in our body. So water, because of water, if there would be no water in our body temperature would always fluctuate. It would not be constant, yeah. So the temperature outside our environment has a temperature. Sometimes it's high, sometimes it's low, but because of this our body temperature does not fluctuate much, yeah. Sometimes it's not like your body temperature sometimes will be 0 degree, then sometimes you will get to 100 degree. Does that happen? No. Why? You have a constant body temperature because of the presence of water in your body. Next, whatever food you eat, the important components of the food always get absorbed. Suppose you are eating food, it contains fats, carbohydrates, proteins, minerals. So when you eat the food, at first your food will be broken down through the digestive system, yeah, and then it will get absorbed. That means all those components will be absorbed by your body. It will be absorbed in the small intestine. So this absorption also happens because of the presence of water, and also the excretion. What is excretion? The removal of waste products. That means the products that did not get digested, yeah. So when you eat a food, there will be some product that is necessary for your body, yeah, it's necessary, and then there will be some products that is not necessary for your body. That means these are the waste materials, and these products cannot stay in our body. It has to be thrown out, yeah. And this process of throwing out is what? Excretion. And in this process of throwing out, what helps? The water helps. The water is a very important component in excretion of our body. and the excretion process happening in our body, and our body needs 2 to 3 liters of water every day. So you have to drink enough water so that your body can do all its functions properly. Yeah, so 2 to 3 liters of water. Try to drink enough water. Next, it's roughage. So what is roughage? Roughage has a other name. We also call it fiber. So what is it? Fiber is found in vegetables, fruits, beans and cereals. It has no nutritive value but prevents constipation and is necessary for proper functioning of the digestive system. So fiber is a very important nutrient, a very important component present in our food. Yeah, so fiber does not give us energy. Yeah, fiber also does not help in promoting growth or bodybuilding, but it's very important for what? For your digestive system. So it helps in the proper functioning of your digestive system, because it prevents what? It prevents constipation. So if you have constipation, what will happen? All the waste materials will be stuck in your stomach, in your intestine, and then you will fall sick. So all the waste materials should be excreted, should be thrown out regularly. Yeah, so this is help because of this happens because of the presence of fiber. When you have fiber, enough fiber in your diet, your body will have a proper digestive system. Ideally our food should contain sufficient, so whatever food we eat, what are the things that our food should contain? It should contain energy giving foods. Yeah, so when we eat food, there have to be some foods that will give us energy. There has to be some food that gives us growth, that are bodybuilding, and there also has to be some food that's protective. So what are the examples? Energy giving foods, like that means there have to be carbohydrates and fats in that food. Bodybuilding means we have to eat protein rich food. Next, protective food, that means we have to get enough vitamins and minerals in our body. Also, foods does on the basis of their role in the body are classified into 3 major groups. So on the basis of what? On the basis of their role. So these are the roles of carbohydrates and fats. It is the role of proteins and this is the role of vitamins and minerals. So based on their roles, they are divided into how many category? 3 groups. They are divided into 3 groups. So what are the groups? Energy giving, bodybuilding and protective foods. So these are the 3 groups that the foods are being divided. What is the first group? Energy giving. And the second one? Bodybuilding. The third one? Protective. So these are the 3 groups in which the foods have been divided. Yeah. Next. So no single food can supply all the components required for proper nutrition. So all the 3 groups, yeah, we cannot get in one single food. Like if you eat egg, yeah, suppose you will eat egg, or suppose you will be eating, take example of meat or fruits. So any food will not give you all the nutrients that you need. You will not get all the nutrients in one food. Yeah, so what you have to do, you have to combine your food. Yeah, so you can see here the picture. They have divided the foods. Yeah, can you see the pictures? So they have mentioned energy giving foods, protective foods and bodybuilding foods. So in the energy giving foods, they have included cereals, sugar, oil, tubers. Then in the bodybuilding, you can eat pulses, milk, fish, nuts, eggs, meat. In the protective, you have to eat what? Fruits, spinach, brinjal, tomato, carrot, oranges, amla, papaya. So these are the food groups. So here is the table 2.1. So here you can see all the names they have given in detail. So this table is very important. Yeah, so try to learn this table, try to keep all the names. Yeah, try to remember the names, which food falls in what category. So please try to remember this one. This is very important. Next, what is the composition? So composition of some food items. So in the table 2.2 we learn about the composition of the food items. Suppose you can take the example of rice. Yeah, so in the rice there is 10% of protein, 70% of carbohydrates, and fats we can find in a little amount. There are only some traces of fats. Yeah, in milk you can get 3% of protein, 3% of carbohydrate, and 3% of fat. In pulses you will get 20% of proteins. We have learned that pulses is a growth building, bodybuilding food. Yeah, you can see here also. So protein is in large amount. Carbohydrates we get from 60%. We get in 60% because pulse also provide us what? Energy. And there are some traces of fats also. So in this way you can learn the composition of nutrients. This one also is very important. Please try to learn this table also. Next we will learn about balanced diet. So what is balanced diet? In the name, from the name itself you can understand that that's the name of balance. What do you mean by balance? That means we have to keep the diet in a balanced manner. We have to balance the diet. You can't be eating only proteins all day. Yeah, you can be eating protein all day and not eat fat or vitamins or minerals. Yeah, so you can't be eating only protein, or you can't be eating only fats and minerals and avoid the other nutrients. No, that won't be good for you. That cannot be happening. So we always have to keep a balanced diet. So it is not just sufficient that our food contains all the nutrients. Our body requires balanced quantities of different nutrients. So all the nutrients have to be in balanced proportion in our body. Proteins, carbohydrates, fats, vitamins and minerals for its proper growth and maintenance. So all the nutrients have to be in balanced manner. Deficiency of one or the other nutrient in the food leads to poor health and makes it prone for disease. So like in the mineral salt section we have learned that if there's less iron in our food, what will happen? We will get anemia. If there's less iodine in our food, what we will get? We will get the disease known as goiter. Yeah, so can you see? So you always have to keep a balance of all the food items, of all the nutrients. So if there is a deficiency of any of the nutrients, what will happen? You will fall sick, you will get disease in your body. Yeah, so that is why you have to keep a balance of all the food. Otherwise the deficiency of the nutrients may lead you to poor health and you will get disease. So underline this line. It is the definition of balanced diet. Underline the whole line. A diet containing all the nutrients in their proper quantities is known as balanced diet. So mineral salts, suppose, yeah, you have learned that mineral salts needs to be taken in small quantities. If you keep taking mineral salts in large quantities, that will also be harmful for you. So all the foods need to be taken in their accurate proportion. So that is known as balanced diet. You have to, what is balanced diet? A diet containing all the nutrients. So your diet have to contain all the nutrients and in their proper quantities. So the nutrients, only the containing of the nutrients will not be sufficient. So the nutrients have to be in proper quantities. Only then that diet can be considered as a balanced diet. Understood? In a balanced diet, energy giving foods, bodybuilding foods, and protective foods are present in correct proportions. So, as I have already explained, that all the foods, we have learned that foods are divided into 3 groups according to based on the roles. Yeah. So, what were the 3 groups? Energy giving foods, bodybuilding foods, and protective foods. So, all the 3 groups, it has to be present in our diet, and they have to be present in correct proportions. Yeah. So if we have to consume carbohydrate this much, you have to eat this much only. You can't be eating this much or this much. Yeah. So all the nutrient has its proportion in our body, so we have to eat them in correct proportions. Our diet has to be maintained in such a way that the nutrients are in correct proportions, and only then we will consider that as a balanced diet. The balanced diet of a 10 to 12-year-old child may consist of 2 cups of cooked cereals. So this can be the balanced diet of a 10 to 12-year of a child. Yeah. So what will be the balanced diet of the 12-year child? So you can eat 2 cups of cooked cereals. Yeah, 2 cups of cooked cereals. Then what else? Half a cup of cooked pulses. 2 cup of cooked cereals, half a cup of cooked pulses, and then 2 cups of milk and a small quantity of cooked green leafy vegetable and a seasonal fruit. So overall you can see that you have to eat cereals also, you have to eat pulses, you have to eat milk, drink milk, also vegetables and fruits. So you cannot avoid anything, you have to eat all these things. So some of you might be avoiding vegetables, you might not like eating vegetables, but vegetables and fruits, they are very important for your health. Can you see here? This is the balanced diet of a 10 to 12-year-old child. A balanced diet varies with age, health, and occupation. For example, a laborer doing manual work needs more carbohydrates and fats in his diet, which would provide him more energy. A young child needs to take more proteins as they help in bodybuilding. So the diet, the diet will be different according to the age, health, and occupation. Suppose the diet of a 2-year-old baby will not be same like a 12-year-old kid. The diet of a 12-year-old kid will be different from a 21-year-old child, and it will also be different from 41-year-old person. Then again, it will also be different from a 60-year-old person. So can you see all the different age groups, they have different balanced diet. The balanced diet of a 2-year-old kid will not be same like a 60-year-old lady. Yeah. So according to the age also, the balanced diet will change. Again, according to the health. So some people might be prone to some disease. Yeah. Some people might be prone to other disease. Some people might be allergic to some food. Some people might be having more amount of cholesterol. So if you have more amount of cholesterol, then you can't be eating egg yolk. Yeah. So like this. So nowadays people are diabetic. Yeah, they have diabetes. So all different health issues have different pros and cons, and for health also we have to make different diets. Yeah, so health also is a very important factor in considering the diet that we eat. Again, what is the other factor? Occupation. So underline this line. Till here. So occupation, that means what? Suppose here they have given the example of a laborer. So a laborer always does manual work. Yeah, he does more physical work than the mental work. So if he does more physical work, that means he will be needing more energy. So if he needs more energy, then what he will have to eat? He will have to eat food that gives him more energy. So that means he will have to eat food that contains more what? Proteins and carbohydrates and fats. So a laborer has to eat food that's rich in carbohydrates and fats. So what are the food that's rich in carbohydrates and fats? You can see here. So he will have to eat what? He will have to eat rice. He will have to eat what? Pulses, then nuts, then sugar. So these are the things that he can eat. A laborer can eat these things because it will provide him more energy. Again, there's another example that they have given: a child, a young child. So a child, you are also a child, now you are growing. That means you need what? Bodybuilding proteins. A small child, a 2-year-old child, will be needing more proteins in their body because the child is growing now. Yeah, he is being growing. That's why he will need bodybuilding nutrients. And what is bodybuilding nutrients? That means he will need food that contains more protein. And what are the protein rich food? Check in the table. Yeah, check. What are the protein rich food? This one, this column. That means he can eat what? Rice. Yeah, he can also eat milk. Pulses he can eat. Yeah, then eggs also he can eat. Meat, fish, nuts. Yeah, fruits too he can eat. But more he will have to eat these things because this contain more proteins. So this is how a balanced diet varies on what factors? A balanced diet always varies because of age, health and occupation. Understood? So let's end today's class here. We will learn more about the components of food in our next class. Thank you.